All right, hey everybody, Ashley Stroehlein here, hanging out with Ben Rhodes, who is at Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, a really exciting weekend for the sport of NASCAR. We're going dirt racing at Bristol Motor Speedway for the first time. Obviously, you guys got some practice in yesterday. You were fastest in the last session. So now that you've been able to get on the track and do some runs and that kind of thing, what are your thoughts on this dirt race that's supposed to take place tonight?
It's going to be wild. It's going to be really wild, I think. It almost reminds me of that shade of old Bristol, before the progressive banking when the bottom was dominant. It's got shades of old Bristol. You can still make some passes on the top, but it's got to be at the right moment, when the track is going through different changes. There's enough moisture up there to support you, and the bottom is slicked off enough that you've got a little bit of an opening. And that's what we saw. So the track's going to change a lot right now. I'm got my whole winter weather get up on, my rain weather get up. It's pouring outside. So I'm not sure what the schedule is going to look like or how it's going to change, but we still have to go through tech. The team just rolled back out. I think they're starting to open everything back up again for tech. So that is good news.
Well, I got to come out to the track yesterday. Beautiful weather on Friday for those practice sessions for both the truck and the Cup Series. And I kind of picked my seat as far up as I could go so I wouldn't be in the dirt. But I know some fans want to be down there in the action. But I'm just curious, is it hard to see when you guys really get going out there, or is it just something that just kind of comes natural to you?
Oh, no, it's hard to see. And I even think some of the dirt people that have raced dirt and never been in this, having a windshield in front of them at a dirt track, underestimated how hard it is to see. There was one point, it was the start of the second practice, and I think it was when we ran our fast lap for second practice. I couldn't see anything. My team actually had to tell me when to get back down to the bottom because I couldn't even see the surface of the track, so I couldn't judge, when it's starting to lose moisture and when I need to get back down to the bottom. So yeah, it was tough. All I could see is there was like one truck. It was some white truck or it was something that was in front of me on the bottom, and I was running the high side, and you can't see the wall, you can't see the track, you can't see anything. That was it. So that was my judgment, and I was going off of that truck. If they went high into the corner and started going into my line, I would have went higher, and I would have hit the wall. You just go off of your best instinct, and I'm a little bit like Reese Bobby. He's got the blindfold on. That's about like that. You just kind of feel the truck.
Right, right. Yeah, I had some people telling me, like, on TV, they're like, it looks so cool, it looks great. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm here, and it's hard for me to see in the stands, so I can't imagine how the drivers feel on the track when they're out here for practice, let alone when you guys go racing later.
Yeah, that's going to be between visibility and tires. That's going to be our two biggest things that I think a driver is going to be fighting tonight, assuming the weather holds out. I think the tires. I think Goodyear brought a good tire for us. From what I understand, it's a hard tire. It's not laying rubber like you'd see for a for like a typical dirt car race, and it's really eating the tire up. It's starting to feather apart, chunk apart, which makes that a factor. We all came here, and even NASCAR, I think too, believed that it was going to be such a track position race, and tires weren't going to be a factor. And after only 20, 30, 40 laps, the tires are gone. So I think you're going to have to stop and get tires every chance you can. And it's going to make it a very track position oriented race. But at the same time, I don't know what to expect. Maybe the high side will come in, maybe it won't. I know it's supposed to be working hard on the high side. So it'd be great if it would. But, again, we got shades of old Bristol right now. The bottom's been dominant.
And then obviously a lot of fans excited. I know all the tickets that were available for the truck race and the cup race, those are all gone. So people are excited to come out to the track, but also fans are going to be tuning in to watch this race. So for fans that are going to watch this, what's your message to them? What can you tell them about it?
Well, I mean, me personally, I want a good, calm race. I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of angry people at the end of tonight. And one happy person. So, somebody's going to be victory lane. They're going to be happy. The rest of us, not so much. I would like to have an uneventful race. I'd like to finish in the top 5. And that would actually make me happy, despite the damage on the truck that I know is going to happen. But you're going to see a lot of bumping, a lot of banging. You're going to see dirt flying. I think we could get the high side going maybe at one point in the race, but it could lose moisture too quick to be a serious factor. I really don't know what to expect. I'm going to play it by ear, and I can't tell what the fans to expect because I don't even know what to expect. But I do know there will be some angry people, and that's just the product of this type of racing. And people coming into the series that have nothing to lose. It's checkers or wreckers for them.
Right. We know Bristol always brings the emotions on a normal race weekend. Now we're going to add dirt to that. And like you said, some people that have nothing to lose. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. But I want to talk about your season so far. You started off amazing. You won the first 2 races. So just overall, your thoughts on the 2021 season for yourself and your team so far.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I don't have to worry about winning necessarily at this track, or I don't have that stress of trying to make it into the playoffs still at this track, because this track has playoff implications just like any other race. And for the folks that really need the points, yeah, this is a little bit stressful for them. For me, I'm gonna enjoy it. I told my team, I said, we're gonna enjoy this race. We're gonna worry about having fun. And I said, whenever we worry about having fun, we always perform our best anyways. So leave the stress at home, leave all the worry behind. I know the weather's not good right now, but we're going to race, whether it's today, tonight, whenever. We're going to race here, and we're just going to be happy doing it and have some fun. And, I think that the big thing for our season is getting those first 2 wins out of the way, because our mile-and-a-half program kind of struggled. If you watched our 2 races since those 2 wins, Las Vegas and Atlanta, that's definitely our weak point. I mean, we struggled. We got a top 10 at Las Vegas. Should have been maybe like a 9th or 10th at Atlanta. We had some bad green flag pit stop communication and ended up 16th. So, yeah, I'm so glad to have those wins. I mean, if we didn't have those, we'd be in bad shape right now. Our mile-and-a-half program, we've got to work on and get a lot better at, because there's a lot of teams that are, they're on point with that stuff, and, we're a little bit behind there.
Well, I so appreciate your time. Before we wrap things up, anything else that you want to share or want to share with the fans that are watching right now?
No, I'm just excited to race tonight. It's funny, you looked at the track yesterday and it started kind of like chunking apart a little bit. Did you see that, where it was getting really rutted out? Gosh, it's so rough. I told my crew initially, I said, man, our Bombardier Tundra's really handling good. I said, don't change a whole lot. I said, I need to get, better. And we went out there. I jumped like one rut, and I went like nosedive into the second one, kind of like a boat when it hits a big wave, and it just felt like it just stopped the truck. I mean, I went forward in my belts, and it drug the nose out from underneath us. So they'll have to do a little work there, but again with the rain, I don't know what's going to happen. So I tell all the fans to tune in and witness some history, because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up, because we were sitting in the stands and we're like, wait, do you see this on the track? Like, look at that. And so I can't imagine like what you just described, like how it felt actually being inside the truck when you were hitting some of those. And also, now you have to worry about, maybe damage or how that's going to be in the race and that kind of thing. But now Mother Nature's also going to add her effects to the track. So I guess it's kind of like the unknown, right, heading into tonight's race and maybe the qualifying heats later on this afternoon.
Yeah, it really is an unknown. It is. And, we raised the front of our truck up some so we wouldn't bottom out like that, and it makes it a little smoother for a driver. But the ruts are still there. I mean, when you're sliding into a corner and you feel it, grabbing the sidewall of the right rear of the truck, it'll grab and it'll point you back straight if you're not careful. And, that's not good either. I have a feeling that the big dirt turtles are going to become an effect, the dirtles, as they call them. I was following Myatt Snyder yesterday in practice. We were coming up on him, and I couldn't see, so I know he couldn't see, but I saw him turn off into the corner really early. I'm like, that's a little early still. I mean, I can't tell where I'm at, but I'm pretty sure that's early. And he jumped one of those. I'm talking jumped it straight up and went right across my nose up to the wall. And that was exciting. I'm sure that's going to happen today too. So, keep an eye on that. Somebody's going to get some air.
Yeah, I felt like the first practice session, everyone was kind of like, okay, let's test it, let's see. And then by the time the second practice session rolled around, you guys were just going for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's 100% accurate. The first session, everybody was pretty timid. People laid down some fast times to start when the track was tacky, and then it slicked off pretty good. And then people waited. Like the first practice, I saw most of the drivers were still standing on the tops of their haulers, not wanting to go out yet. And there's just like a select few: Sheldon Creed, the showstopper, Haley, I think Raphael. There's a few there's a bunch of young drivers that went out right away. I guess they wanted the track experience. I don't know. And they turned some fast laps, but they were rutting up the track, and I think they were seeing firsthand how rough it could get. And then by the second practice, we had like 30 trucks lined up on pit road ready to go. Like everybody was on kill mode at that point, and nobody was waiting. Everybody was like, delved into it, and mind was 100% focused on what they needed for their truck. And people raced hard in the second practice too. Like there was a lot of side-by-side action that I wasn't expecting to get. So that's a fair assessment, actually.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, wait, okay, we're really going. It's practice, but we're going for it. Like we're getting ready for Saturday night at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, track position is going to be key. And I don't mean this in any way against Norm Benning, because he's obviously been fast on the dirt stuff. And I mean, look at the show he put on in Eldora a few years ago. But I had the hardest time getting around Norm. I went to the high side. I'm like staying even with them. Then I went to the bottom. And then finally I just gave up. I'm like, all right, Norm, it's practice. You can keep this spot. I'm going to fall back. And I watched Ryan Newman go up there, and he was working his way around Norm. But that just shows me how, at least at that point in practice, how dominant the bottom's going to be. So if you want somebody's spot and you're faster than them, but you can't exactly get around them on the high side, the bumpers are going to be used tonight. I know they will. I hope that I don't have to use it. I hope that I don't have to have my rear bumper being hit. But it's Bristol, and it's dirt, so we'll see what happens.
Right. I think we're going with it's Bristol baby, but it's dirt baby is what we're going with for this weekend. So
yeah. It makes sense.
That's what I saw it on the side. That's the hashtag I'm seeing. So if you win, that's what we're expecting you to say, just so you know.
Well, right now we should be saying it's mud, baby, because it's nothing but mud out there. It's you're walking around, and I was flying in and out of Bristol here to go to a wedding, and I wasn't able to pack my boots, so I'm just like my feet are just covered in mud and wet right now, and it's so sloppy here. But fingers crossed the sun will come out, or at least no more rain will be falling, and it'll dry up. The trucks have a good way of drying up the racetrack, so we're good for that.
And you guys always put on a good show, so I guess we'll see if we're going to have those qualifying heats. It's supposed to start around 4:30. We'll see if that takes place. If not, we'll, like you said, cross our fingers for a green flag at 8 o'clock tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway. Ben, thank you so much for always making time with us, and congrats on being off to an awesome start for 2021, and good luck tonight at Bristol.